and welcome to the Slayalong live show for Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 2. We're going to be discussing all of Season 2 in all of its spoilery glory. Lots to talk about today, so let's get things started with a couple of intros. Hi, I'm Kat. This is my channel, and we have a special guest here today because unfortunately Melanie couldn't make it. She's on vacation, hopefully having an amazing time. But we have Chloe here from Books with Chloe to chat with us today.
Hey! Yeah, so this is my first time watching Buffy. I started watching it because of this watch-along, so I've been having so much fun, and I'm so excited to discuss Season 2.
Yay! Yeah, we're so excited to have you, a first-timer.
I know, we get to hear like your opinion because we're all like veterans.
Yeah.
A newbie's perspective. Is it my turn now?
I think so, yeah.
Is it? Yeah, we're going alphabetical. We were trying to figure out who's going to go. I'm Heather from Bookables, if you guys don't already know. I love Buffy. I've loved it for like over 10 years. I forget how old I am, so I've loved it a long time.
Right there with you.
And I'm Lainey from the channel named Ginger Reads Lainey, and I've also been a massive Buffy fan for as long as I can remember. It was like the first fandom I was a part of. So I'm excited to talk about Season 2.
Yay! And I'm Spencer. I'm from the channel Common Spence. I too am a Buffy veteran. I have loved this show since I was in like 3rd grade. So I'm so excited to be talking about Season 2 today.
Yeah, all right. So anyone who's watching who is new to Slayalong or might not know what's going on, you can check the description. We have like an explanation, an announcement video. We have a Twitter, lots of stuff going on for this Slayalong, the Buffy watch along. We're doing a season a month, and April was Season 2. So let's talk about Season 2. General thoughts. Is this someone's favorite season? Least favorite?
I don't know who wants to go first. I will say it's not my least favorite season by any means, but it's not my favorite. But I would say Season 2 is where Buffy becomes Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know what I'm saying? It gets its groove. Like, you know what I'm saying? You finally figure out what kind of show it is. And I'd say by the second half of Season 2, more particularly, like it starts becoming a really good show. So that's my opinion on Season 2. Like for rating wise, I would give it like a 4 out of 5, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's also not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite. I would say, I don't know, maybe my 3rd or 4th favorite. Like I love the later seasons a little bit more than I like the earlier seasons. But yeah, I mean, I was introduced in reruns of Buffy. The Halloween episode was the first episode I ever watched of Buffy ever.
That's an awesome.
Yeah, it was.
So it was a good episode to jump into at like the perfect time. So
I feel the same. I'm very lukewarm about Season 2. I don't hate it, don't love it, nothing like that. There are definitely some moments that I think are some of the biggest, most exciting moments in the entire show. But I also think there's a lot of filler episodes in Season 2.
Yes.
Like outside of sort of the main arc with the main villain, which we'll get into, I'm sure. Outside of that, it's pretty not my favorite, but that main storyline really, really is exciting. So it definitely has its ups and downs as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I also agree. I mean, obviously I can't judge it on like I can't
That's scary.
I can't rank this season obviously because this is my first time watching it, but I did prefer it to Season 1, although I will also agree that it got way better in the second half, because the first half I was like, oh no, am I not going to continue? Because it was kind of like, a lot of filler episodes, and I was kind of getting bored, and I felt myself like zoning out and doing other things. But then, when I started to watch the second half, I was really getting into it, and I really loved it. So
wait till you get to Season 3.
Yeah, because that's your favorite, isn't it? So I'm
I think it's a lot of people's favorite in this chat. I know it's my favorite. I know it's Spencer's favorite too.
Yeah, I love Season 3.
Oh my gosh, I already started and I'm like, this is
I already started. I just stopped watching it to like come on to here.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts, Kat? Yeah.
3. I don't think it's my favorite season though. I have a soft spot for Season 6, I want to say.
Yeah.
I know all of you guys, like, you're already prepping me for season 6. Like, I'm going to go into it with new eyes and much more
Yes,
appreciation.
Heather.
And
Heather
I
to
think
the
'cause
light.
now I'll, like, feel it better.
Yeah. So yeah, season 2 isn't my favorite, but I do love it. There are some iconic Buffy moments in season 2 that like make the show, and it like all of you were saying, like it has some filler episodes, but it really finds its stride, and like this is where it became Buffy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the CGI wasn't as cringy. I mean, there obviously were some.
Yeah,
cringy
there's
moments,
better, but I think it's still in the 90s. It's like you
Yeah.
can't expect much, but you have to constantly remind yourself, like, this is in the 90s.
I feel like season 3 is when they really got that budget, because season 3 I feel like is when it's like you're like, okay, this is like a
really?
thing now.
Yeah,
That's
I
true,
mean
that's
season
true.
3 got a budget, but it was also still 90s CGI.
Oh yeah. But it was like more quality than season 2 or 1 for sure.
Yeah, well, in season 2, like funny, we'll talk about the budget for a second, but like the werewolves in season 2 are like
Oh my gosh.
No.
it's a person in a in a werewolf costume.
Like, I wonder if that guy got that job and he was like, this is my job. Like, it's not
Yeah, I
my
was like, whoa.
Honestly, dream job.
I was like, whoa. Yes, that's funny.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, werewolves. And then as soon as I saw them, I was like,
Yeah.
It was, yeah. I think they do better with werewolves in the later seasons. I can't remember. I guess we'll find out.
They have to. There's no going back.
I mean,
Like,
it
that
could
is
just
the
be
rock bottom.
Yeah, they got a redesign.
So let's talk a little bit about favorite episodes. Do you
Oh
guys
gosh.
have a favorite standout episode?
I'm like looking at my notebook right now, and it's just like I can't figure it out.
I mean, there's so many that stand out, but I feel like the obvious answer for me has to be Becoming 1 and 2. Like that saga.
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
that's like that's one of the most iconic moments of this entire series. So I stand. I love it.
Well, my
I
favorite
agree.
episode was Ted.
No, it was not.
I'm joking.
Oh, I was like, really?
So great. I was like, are you on something? No, ma'am.
No, like
ma'am.
that's like the worst episode.
Oh, I hate
Yes,
that
yes.
episode
I
so
was just
much.
rewatching that episode. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
So cringy. I'm like, what is happening?
Like
I hate it.
it beats the online dating one from last season by far.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, definitely beats that one. That's for sure.
Oh,
I
that's
actually liked
so
that
funny.
episode, that online dating one. I found it really funny. Like, I don't know, it was just funny.
Yeah, I think that one's funny. Also, I just love Willow, so when it's like Willow focused, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, like I can live with it.
What was your favorite though, Lainey? Do you have a favorite?
I'd have to say Halloween. It's the
Yeah,
first one I watched, and it
classic.
just
Got
I
nostalgia
love
for
it.
you too.
Yep, every time I watch it, I love it.
That's awesome. My favorite, I would have to say Becoming Part 1 and Part 2, because I mean that's just, I would have to say like Buffy, I say it all the time, Buffy does season finales well. Like there hasn't been a season finale of Buffy, I think, other than one that I have not absolutely loved. And like every time I watch Becoming Part 2, even though I know what happens, I sob like a baby every time. Like I'm like,
I know.
oh my gosh.
I
But
watched it last night and I was crying.
it's ridiculous. I also love Passion. Passion, oh my gosh, that episode is so heart-wrenching, but it is good. Like, gosh, that one gets me in the gut every time. So those are like my 3 favorite, I'd have to say.
Speaking of Becoming, okay, so when I was watching it last night, that weird New Yorker demon that kind of like is Angel's tour guide, I was like trying to figure out, because I feel like Joss doesn't put someone in there unless they really truly mean, or they're part of like the bigger picture. And for some reason, I just could not understand why that character was created.
I think, I don't want to spoil it.
Well, like,
what
does
was
he
his
show up
name?
in Angel? Does he show up in Angel?
Yes, I think he does. Does Spencer know? Is that why he's drinking?
No, I don't know. I've never
I'm
seen
pretty
it, so
sure.
I'm like, spoilers? I don't know.
No, I feel like he doesn't show up in Angel though.
Who's the other? Okay, there's 3 leads in Angel. I don't want to spoil the 3 leads, but obviously no one. But is that not him?
of. It's not.
No, that's not
It's
him.
not him. Okay, then I don't know. Then he just showed up. Then to show up. Then I have no clue. But you're
Just
right.
passed
gave him,
through.
this huge part, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah, I
Who are you? Do you even go to this school?
She don't even go here.
that is definitely the weakest aspect of becoming part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's this new character introduced, and we know he has a history with Angel because we see it in like the flashbacks. But
Oh, Mackenzie was saying in the chat he was supposed to be in the spinoff before he was recasted into Doyle.
I was
Is that-
thinking, you know what? Okay, yeah,
That
Mackenzie
makes
said he was
sense
supposed to be
then.
Doyle. That was who's the main character in Angel. So I thought when I first saw him, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Doyle because I do remember watching. But I guess they recast that guy. That's messed up. Poor guy.
Yeah. He could have been something.
But he wasn't.
What are some of your favorite episodes, Kat?
I love Halloween.
Yeah, that's such a good one.
It's because all of my favorite Buffy episodes are the ones that like go really weird and like get a little bit they tend to be like, I love Tabula Rasa. I love the musical episode Once More with Feeling.
Yes.
So like I just love the episodes where we have our characters, but they're like not exactly being our characters. So I love Halloween. What else? School Hard, the introduction of Spike is
Yeah, that was classic.
and also I
was thinking, I'm like, back then. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just thinking of Spike's little arc here in the second season, and like back then, I like never noticed that he was in the wheelchair for like 10 episodes. But then, like, how did any of them believe him that he was in there for that if they heal so fast?
Yeah.
And sometimes logic doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's very true. I love that one.
Yeah, I love the it's just every episode has like at least one moment of just like pure comedic gold.
Oh yeah.
And I love the throwback in I think it's Becoming Part 2 where Spike is meeting Joyce. And, like they're in the living room and just like
I love it.
silence, and then she's like, I know you. So have we met? And he's like, hit me with an axe. Get the hell away from my daughter.
That was just, oh my gosh, that was gold.
That was one of my favorite scenes out of like the whole season.
Yeah.
What were some of your you're the new person. What did you think of season 2? Like, what was your favorite episode?
I have to agree, like Becoming Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But this is the other random episode. I don't know why I loved it so much, but I can't remember what it's called, but the one where there's like, it's to do with that book, and then the people keep killing like their lover, and then like it ends up being
talking about I Only Got Eyes for You?
For some reason, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just loved how it was like the
That's
twist
a good one.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people love that one, but I love that one.
Yeah.
But think about the first where like they had the gun, and is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. And then
that's the one. That's a good one because especially at the end, gosh, freaking tear you up.
Yeah, well, you can always tell that what next episode is gonna be like the big game changer when they have the previous episode be Xander centric.
That's true. Is that what happened with?
Because bad eggs, that whole
Let's not.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Since we talked about favorites, like what was everyone's least favorite? Because season 2 like had too many, in my opinion, like the filler creature of the week episodes, and some of them were okay. Some were just straight up horrible. What was it? Because I was like, I don't know which one's my least favorite because there's a lot.
Yeah.
Bad Eggs comes to mind, and also Ted.
A one for
Ted. Yeah, Ted creeps me out like in a bad way.
Also, Go Fish was horrible.
Yeah, Go Fish is a mess.
I have a special hatred for Go Fish just because it's like in the middle of some great episodes. Like we come off I Only Have Eyes for You.
Yes.
That whole last section has like this amazing parallel between like what Angel and Buffy went through and like Buffy forgiving herself for like turning Angel. And we have this stupid ass Go Fish episode. And then we get to Becoming Part 1 and 2, which are just brilliant.
I think they were just like, oh crap, we need to put something in here to like just kill some time. So
they're like, we haven't done anything dumb in about 5 episodes, so let's throw something weird in there. Okay.
I kind of loved that episode because it has that scene where Cordelia like thinks Xander's like the fish into the pool. She's like,
That's
oh
a
my God.
good scene. She's like, I love you, but if you want to be with other sea monsters, I understand.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, that's not me.
Oh,
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about What's My Line Part 1 and 2.
Mhm.
When like Kendra gets introduced, because I remember I loved Kendra.
Yeah.
And I loved like that whole element of like there being like a second Slayer, because it does make sense because
Mhm.
Buffy did die.
Yeah, I didn't love What's My Line Part 1 and Part 2. I didn't love the bad guys in that. I felt like that was kind of cheesy, but I did love the introduction of Kendra, and you get to see another perspective of we think Buffy's a driven Slayer, but like she cares a lot about school and friends, where Kendra's like, I'm Slayer and that's all I am, period. And that's all I do. And I don't even talk to boys. What are they? Or have friends, you know? So it's very interesting to see that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the first two-parter. That's the first
Yeah, that's true, actually.
continuing storyline. And I liked What's My Line Part 1 and Part 2. Like, they don't stand out as my favorite episodes, but they do add like a nice element in there. And it's where we kind of flip with Spike and Drusilla, because then Drusilla like is healed again, and like that's where Spike gets in his wheelchair for the rest of the season.
Yep.
That's hilarious. I remember when
that's where the storyline actually like really starts, because now like actions that happen in there start having like an impact throughout the rest of the season.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
But also season 2
Go
is
ahead.
when we had like major death scenes.
We had two, two big.
Yeah,
well, I guess
Jenny-
3 technically.
Yeah, Jenny died, Angel died technically, and then Kendra died too.
Yeah. By the way, can we talk about the Kendra death? Because I feel like that was a freaking cop out. Like, I don't love that Drusilla like just put her into the hypnotize. That was great, and then she just cut her with her nail, and I'm like, that's it. Like, that's how she goes down. Like, not some sort of epic fight. Like, I don't feel like that was a Slayer fight.
I'm not buying it. I'm just gonna say this because it's gonna come up at some point. I hate Drusilla. I cannot stand her at all. Every episode she's in it, I'm like, oh my gosh, can somebody stake her already? I think it's the baby talk thing. Like, that just really gets on my nerves. And just the whole like the witchy like hypnotizing thing. I'm like, who are you trying to kid? Like, I don't. And I agree. It definitely feels cheap. And it's like, I don't know. It's like not my thing. So that's my 2 cents.
Bring in the tea.
Yeah, that's my 5 cents. I put in more than I needed on that one.
You know, some of her lines though, I do laugh at. Like between her and Cordelia, they're the lines that I laugh at the most throughout the season.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's fair.
Like, Drusilla's got some. I like that she can see visions, but I don't like the pet talk, and I don't, But then again, I'm like, I understand because Angel done put her through a lot, so I'm like, that's kind of why she's like that, because you made her literally insane. But then I just
fair, just still.
I don't love her either.
Okay, so like I don't like. No, you go.
Okay. It's hard to take her seriously as a villain,
Yes,
agreed. For so long she is so weak, and like Spike has to like really take care of her, and even when she has her strength back, like she doesn't seem like a threat. Like, I am very upset at the fact that she killed Kendra. Like, deserve that kill.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, in the way, wait. Before we even get to that. So when she did the fighting, right, before she did the nail cutting, when she fought, did anybody notice, like, she had her nails, so she did like this. So when, like, she blocked kick, she, like, put her hands like, and I'm like, you are a vampire. You are literally a vampire. Why would you give a crap about your nails? Because I don't even care about them, and I'm living. Like, I don't like, I hated that scene so much. I was like, this is the most unrealistic Slayer death I've ever seen in my life.
Also, Kendra should have been kicking way more ass than that.
Yeah.
Like, she killed a vampire. Like, no way.
But isn't that kind of how it was with Buffy though? With the Master? Because didn't he like kind of hypnotize her and then she was just like dead? Right?
Yeah, that's true. But Buffy knew there was a prophecy at least, so I think she kind of knew into it already, expecting to die.
Also, let's not put Drusilla on the master's level. He was
No, that's very fair. I'm just saying, I'm wondering now that that's my first time drawing that connection. I wonder if the writers were just like, let's just like mimic Buffy's death. You know? But like this one will stick. Okay, cool. I don't know.
So I know we last live show we talked about logic in Buffy and how like school gets like just lunch gets canceled if like someone dies.
Yeah,
normal, casual.
I was thinking like as much as the rocket launcher sequence is like my favorite season 2 sequence.
Oh my god, yes.
I was thinking about, I'm like, there's so many people at that mall, and she gets up.
I thought that too. I was like, people probably died from that.
She gets up on whatever, the kiosk, and pulls out a rocket launcher in the middle of the mall.
I think that Sunnydale police force is like 5 people at this point.
Honestly, they're all dead at this point.
Yeah,
There's just like 5 guys.
Also because you learn more in season 2 because you learn that Principal Snyder knows that this ain't a regular school, and he knows something supernatural is going on because he always is like, I think it was School Hard. They were like, do you just want to say it was, I don't know, a gas leak or something? And he's like, yeah, we can't tell them. And then he keeps referring to the mayor, like, I'll have to talk to the mayor about this, foreshadowing, obviously. So I think some of Sunnydale's police force, they probably don't know anything. They don't care. They get paid like nothing. So they're like, why should I do my job? But it's so horrible how like so many kids die and like nothing happens at that school.
Oh, like Jenny dies, or no, they found her. Oh yeah, well they found her at Giles' place, and Giles doesn't really get questioned. I feel like as hard as any other cop show would question.
Yeah, like they're just wheeled her out and they were just like, see you later. I'm like, if I had a dead body in my house, they would not do that.
See you later.
I have concerns about the scene right at the beginning of Becoming Bart. Is it Becoming? Yeah. Part 2, where the cops find Buffy over Kendra's body, and then Buffy runs away, and the cop shoots at this 6-year-old girl running away.
Oh my gosh, I know. I was like, what's going on?
It's horrible.
Yeah, and like no one put out a call that was like 16-year-old blonde girl had a rocket launcher at the mall. Like, was there no warrant for her arrest? No.
They didn't even know. Apparently they were shopping.
No, they were busy. They had other things to do.
What did I was gonna ask Chloe, what do you think of Spike as a new character? Do you love him? Do you hate him?
Okay, so it took me a while to warm up to him because when I was first introduced, I was like, oh, this feels too familiar. And I realized it's because in Vampire Diaries, he kind of reminded me too much of Klaus. But obviously Vampire Diaries came after, so I'm sure they would have probably kind of copied Buffy.
They totally did. I'm just
kidding. I'm glad you didn't say he was like Damon, because I might have gotten like a little.
Oh no,
because Damon's the worst.
No, I know. I don't. Yeah. No, so I don't know. I didn't realize that at first, but I was like, oh, I don't know. Like really, like I don't know. But then I realized obviously this was before Vampire Diaries, and I think also because he's with Drusilla all the time, and I also agree with Sansa. I don't really like Drusilla. She just annoyed me. So. Like, I think because they were always together, I was like, whenever there was a scene with them. But I started to like him a lot more when he was separate. And then once in Becoming, that's when I realized he was going to be a good character.
Gosh, that was pure, like, he was like, hello, Judy, Oh, gosh, man. Spike, like.
You guys
I love
chemistry.
Together. Like, just them talking. Yeah, so I'm happy that he's a part of it now. But Drusilla, I don't know.
Oh, don't worry. You don't have to worry about her for a while. So I'm not spoiling anything. I think you don't like her, so it doesn't matter anyway. So I think I love Spike because, yes, he is a villain, but he provides so much sarcastic and wittiness and gold, and you find yourself rooting for him because he's just, like, that good to me. Like, I don't know why. I'm like, yeah, Spike. Then I'm like, oh, yeah, you're evil. But then I'm like, I still kind of like you. Like, I shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah, he's like the likable villain. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, I was talking to a friend about this last night, and I'm like, you almost need to see his entire catalog through all 7 seasons to really appreciate him, because he grows so much as a character.
That's very true.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful character arc. I love it.
Yeah,
I agree completely.
And I think what makes him a really compelling villain is really like shown a lot in that scene where he approaches Buffy and he's like, "Hey, I don't want the world to end." Like,
exactly. Yeah, I think he was like, vampires talk a big talk. We want the world to end and stuff. He's like, but why? There's free meals walking around all the time. I can do whatever I want. Why do I want the world to end? I'm like, I mean, that's appreciative to like just straight up say what you feel. So it's talking about Spike. So Spike and Drusilla were kind of our main bad guys at the beginning, but then we get to the second half where Buffy and Angel do the deed, and then Angelus is awakened, and he is quintessentially the bad guy. What do you guys feel about Angelus? And do you like him more than Angel?
Ooh.
No, I don't. Because I think I realized in this watch through that I don't know if I liked Angelus at all. Like, I didn't believe him. And maybe it's because I've seen such much more darker villains in the supernatural setting where I'm like, Angelus doesn't like do it for me anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I think he takes it a little like he does too much of like he's so in love with killing and stuff, but he takes it too far to the point where you kind of don't even believe him. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, but there were some really good moments, but some of the things he said, I was like kind of cringing about. I don't know. So
yeah, I agree.
I just think there's something, I don't know the right word. It's like there's something really like metal, like hardcore metal about this character who's like this like everyone's like he's so dreamy and he's the love interest, and then it's like 2 episodes later he's like literally like ripping people's throats out, like completely ruthless. Like I think there's something just really crazy in a good way about that. So I definitely think Angel is a better character than Angelus, only because I think Angel has more nuances because he's got so much more complexity, whereas Angelus is literally just like a monster. Like he's a killing nightmare machine, and that starts to get a little one note for me.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. Because if we were just introduced to Angelus without the angel like beforehand and like that, then he'd be such a boring villain. It's like, okay, he's just bad. Like there's no depth to what he was doing. Just like pure evil. He's not a very compelling villain until you factor in that like he was the love interest and he was like so soft and so like and like sad boy, and that it was that flip and like what it did to Buffy that made him.
It's like, you hate Angelus, you want her to kill him multiple times, and then you remember Angel's still inside of him, and he's like, wait, you can't do that. And it's just that's heartbreaking, which also leads to the notion of like what truly makes like a soul. Like you see Spike that does not have a soul, but yet he has a little bit of humanity in him. You see that several times. Like I think in that episode where they had the rocket launcher, they got that judge guy and he sees like usually he's like, you two reek of humanity because they're in love and they can feel things. Like Spike went to Buffy and becoming with humanity with like, hey, let's have a truce real quick. Most vampires wouldn't do that. And yet he doesn't have a soul. And Angel, you know what I'm saying? Like Angel has a soul and he's different, but as soon as you strip him away from his soul, he's like a one-note killing machine. Like it's interesting. And wouldn't it be more interesting to talk about more in season 7 about a particular thing? Just talk about the soul and not soul. But I always think about that a lot.
Even Drusilla, I feel like is kind of, I mean, really a lot of the other vampires in the show are not one note in the same way. Which I feel like Angelus is almost like he's making up for lost time, But I feel like even Drusilla, even though she's, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I think she doesn't have that same sense of just being like a ruthless, nonstop killing machine, I guess.
Right. What did you think of Angelus, Chloe? Did you like him? Did you hate him? Did you want to kill him?
Well, yeah, I loved that whole plotline because it really reminded me, again, linking back to Vampire Diaries, of, I don't know if you guys have even seen it, but
I have not, but it sounds like they've been copying my show.
It's right?
It seems like they are.
What they do in Vampire Diaries, I need to know.
Everything.
Well, Stefan, he's like basically exactly Angel, like the sad, like soft boy, and then he turns into Ripper Stefan, so he like loses his humanity, so he just like goes on a killing spree, and they have that same dynamic where Elena's like, anyway, so I loved that in Vampire Diaries. So I kind of loved seeing it again, even though obviously this was before Vampire Diaries. So I loved it.
They don't
I just love the angst, and then Like
Oh my
Buffy's
gosh, angst. Buffy does angst.
Yeah,
I love it.
my favorite Angela scene was actually in Innocence after she comes back and she was like the morning after or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I felt for her so
Oh my
hard.
gosh, that was so that's horrible. No,
Because he was such a dick to her. And I'm like, stop it.
No.
And, like, he didn't know yet. She was just like, why are you
Mhm.
being like
Yeah,
that?
that's horrible.
Mhm.
And this whole season's thing, I think, was like consequences. Like everything you do has a consequence. Like poor Buffy has sex, and her consequence isn't like, having an unwanted pregnancy or anything like that. It's literally having her boyfriend lose his soul and kill people around her. Like, what is this?
Yeah, that whole thing was a bit.
Gosh, have you guys watched? There's been this channel I've been obsessed with. His name is Passion of the Nerd, and he does these Buffy
Yes.
episode guides. I watch an episode of Buffy, then I go watch his review, and he goes such in depth. Like I thought I knew about Buffy, but he goes in depth and like makes it Buffy a much grander thing. And I am obsessed with them. You guys should watch them. Like
love
he has,
him.
I think he's working on season 5 now. He needs to because I need to watch that crap. But they are so good. That's how I'm like. I feel like I'm more in depth with it because otherwise I wasn't. But I
You're
just
a
want to say
scholar, Heather. You're
I'm
a
trying.
scholar.
That guy is a scholar.
Someone in the chat just mentioned Giles and about his backstory, and I would like 100,000% agree about that because I loved when Ethan Rayne came back and we got more of like Ripper Giles from
Yes.
London and stuff, and like
Party
that,
animal.
I want a whole like prequel series on like him and like
They
the
should
other
have
little
totally
Yeah.
done that.
British
That would have
people.
been a good series. Like just called it Ripper too.
Yeah,
I
because there's
love-
an episode. No spoilers, but there's like an episode in season 3 when he's also kind of like Ripper Giles. And
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. That is
Yeah.
my favorite episode of all
Yes.
time. Gosh,
Yes.
that's such a good episode. I literally cannot wait to get to that episode.
Mhm.
Oh, Chloe, you're gonna love season 3. Like I'm looking at the list right now, and there are more episodes. There's maybe like 5 I don't love. Like season 3 is full of really good
Oh.
episodes.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah. If you don't love it, don't come back. I'm just
Let's talk about another character that was introduced.
Ooh.
Oz.
I love Oz so
Love Oz
freaking
so
much. Gosh, what a! Somebody actually just tweeted on the Slayalong the other day. They were like, "So Oz was Willow's boyfriend, and then he just disappeared for a while, and they were really upset about it." And I was like, "I think it's just because he was a series guest starring." I was like, "Don't worry, he comes back fully for season 3." But Oz is
I
such
didn't have that contract yet, girl.
that's what I'm saying. For real. He was under, guest starring. But Oz is such a great addition because he provides comic relief, but like in a just like he says it in a flat tone way, but like his lines are just gold. Like he'll just
I love
say
him.
whatever he feels, but like he's just an amazing guy. He's like the best first boyfriend ever.
I love
Yeah.
all the near misses in the beginning he has with Willow, from like
Oh
the
my
Inca
gosh,
Mummy
yes.
Girl snub to when she was like walking by in her like sexy Halloween costume, and he's
Right.
like, "Who's that girl?" I'm like,
Yes.
"Oh."
And even I think it was in the van when Willow figured out about Xander and Cordelia, and she's like, "Don't you want to kiss me?" And he's like, "I do, but like you're not ready yet because you're still hooked on Xander, and that's okay. I can wait." I was like, "Boy,
He's
just-
so wise.
just take me."
Yeah, what like teenage boy would say that? I feel like
Gosh, and he's a werewolf too, so
yeah.
that's fun.
He's so perfect for Willow too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
He like balances. He's like nerdy like her, but he like balances her out really nicely. He's just great. I love him.
Mhm.
That moment when he finds out about vampires and Buffy at
Yeah.
Buffy's surprise party when like she dusts a vampire and everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And he's just like, "Hey, did everyone see that guy turn into dust?" Really, I love him.
And she's like, "Oh, there's vampires," and he's like, explains a lot. Like he doesn't even like have to
Right.
explain. He's like, "Yeah, I get. This sounds weird. I get it."
I get it.
Oh my gosh, I was glad Oz made a introduction, and we're gonna meet some more new characters in season 3 that I can't wait to see, and I can't wait for you, Chloe, to see them either.
Yeah, someone keeps talking about Faith or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, but like she is
Faith.
a dynamic character. I
Mhm.
like Faith. She adds a lot to the show. I think in season 3 in particular.
She is a messy queen. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way.
God, the
Put it on a
messiest
shirt.
of queens.
Yes,
The messiest, the original messy queen.
that's her.
I don't know if anyone can beat Willow for me though. I just
Oh
love
yeah.
Willow.
Is that
Oh,
your
yeah,
favorite
no.
character?
Favorite characters
Yeah.
this season?
So season 1, was she your favorite too?
Yeah.
So okay, you're Willow girl. I appreciate that.
That's
I
the
love
correct answer. Good job.
It's funny because like Faith is like the opposite of Willow.
Yeah, like
Totally, yeah, 100%. Who else? What was everyone's favorite character in this season? Chloe said yours was and Willow. Sorry,
Yeah.
Spencer. I'm gonna guess yours is Willow too.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like in this season, obviously Spike is someone that is important. Oz is important, but also I feel like in season 2, I always pay special attention to Jenny Calendar. I love Jenny Calendar, and I'm so mad. Like to this day, I will never. That's like I always say. That's like the one TV show death that I'll like never get over. That was like the original gasp of the century for me when I was a kid. Like, oh
that
my
was. I mean,
it's like that was the first time for me when I was like, they can't kill like the main characters, you know, or like these important because they had the whole romance thing going, and I was so invested in it. And then
she just found it, and she literally just found the cure. So you're like, things are gonna change.
Yeah,
You know, I actually cried more when she showed up in Becoming Part 2 than I did when Buffy killed Angel.
Oh,
Like
yeah. I could
between
see that,
her and
honestly.
Giles, that whole part, it just broke my heart.
Yes,
That was
too
oh
much.
gosh. I agree though with Jenny Calendar. Like that's why I love. I mean, I don't love Passion because of like it's just such a good episode. Like it's I think it was the first time for me, like you, Spence, I saw a TV show that's like, hey, we're gonna go there. We're gonna kill somebody off because you watch TV shows, and you're like, these characters are here forever. But that was the first time like they were like, no, like somebody's gonna die, and it's like her, and it was just and the way he did it, and then
it was like weirdly poetic. Like
yes, exactly.
It's like it's really morbid, but it's also just like it's so mesmerizing because it's like that's so deep and it's just so twisted.
And the fact that he's a vampire, he didn't even bite her; he just broke her neck, and then he took her to Giles and laid out and did all the rose petals. Like Angelus is a
demented.
Sick,
like,
yes, that's what he does. Like he killed Willow's fish. He did all these things. Like, but
you know, I was thinking like the episode that they realized that they needed to re-bless the house or whatever so that a vampire couldn't come in. They spent a really long time being like, "Hey, we got to do this spell to like keep my ex-boyfriend out."
I would have done that like ASAP.
Yeah, like you leave school, go home, do the spell. Then you can like, because your mom is home and your mom is clueless.
Your trig exam can wait, people. Okay, like get on it.
Yeah,
because Joyce is just a clueless fish.
God bless her.
Let's talk about Joyce. Joyce, like every time I think like I can like get behind her, she's just like horrible. Like especially in Becoming, where Buffy finally tells her mom that she's the Slayer, and Buffy's like, "You've been washing my blood out of my clothes for years, and you still have no clue." And then she just can't accept it, and she's like, "Just leave." And I'm like. Like you remember last year when like you fell on a steak knife? Do you remember that? Like, does that not add up to you? Like, what are you doing?
But like isn't it this season the episode where, or was it last? No, it was this season where they like break into the school.
How was this season?
Yeah, and that's like early in the season.
Yeah, early
season.
She's
like so proud of her. I'm like, what?
I know.
It's just like such a polar opposite. Like. You were cool when you were saving us in the high school, but now it's get out of my house. Like, okay, Joyce, like pick a side.
She's just she's so insanely clueless that it just bothers. It just bothers me so much.
And what does she do at that art gallery all the time? You know what I mean? Like, I've been to an art gallery. Like, do you really need to spend like 70 hours a week at the art gallery? I don't know. I doubt it.
Who knows? She's just being more clueless there.
Well, I mean, like classic peak Joyce is in Ted. Like I just could not get over
Joyce.
What an idiot she was.
God bless her.
But I will say the one thing she did in Ted is when Buffy, killed Ted and pushed him down the stairs. Joyce did not rat her out. She said, "Oh, this," I forget what she said, and then Buffy fessed up. And
so
then
she has some loyalty.
Yeah, and then when Buffy
that's like the bare minimum.
So I'm like, this cop should know about it. So I don't know. Joyce is a hot mess.
Yeah, no, but like what Chloe just said, like bare minimum, like choosing your daughter over the guy you've been dating for 2 weeks. Like,
yeah, bare minimum.
Gosh.
Not putting out any Mom of the Year awards. We'll just put it that way.
She'll never win an award. Oh my gosh. So, who, Lainey, what was your favorite character this season?
I'd have to say Spike, because after when you were like mentioning the whole humanity thing, I'm just like, there's so much layers to him that you see already in season 2. So it's only up from here.
But you're right, girl. What about you, Kat? Did you have a favorite character?
I kind of want to say Spike, but I feel like that's mostly because I just know how his character arcs. Like I know how he is in later seasons. So in season 2, I think I'm still gonna say Spike.
Just own it. Just go for it.
Yeah, whatever you want. There's no wrong answer.
Yeah, because he's such an interesting character, even in the beginning when, like before we get Angelus and that whole dynamic, like he straight up kills the Chosen One. He's just the Chosen One. That kid was like building up to potentially another villain this season. Like, oh, he's still around, and Spike's just like, I don't want to listen to you. And he just
that was like not having it. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, that's how you're like. Yeah, I can get around.
I was just thinking we didn't talk about like another couple in this season.
No.
Xander and Cordelia.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I remember I think I used to really like them, but now rewatching, I don't know, as an adult, I guess, I'm like, their relationship is strictly a surface relationship. There's no depth to it. There's just physicality to it. Like I feel like there's some episodes where they kind of bond, but mostly they just don't, I don't know. Am I the only one that feels that way? That it's just kind of a fake relationship?
It feels like a high school relationship.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So, but also, like, they had some pretty good banter. So, of course, it was kind of leading to this.
Yeah, I agree. They are good together because they, argue and stuff like that. And they banter back and forth. But then, there are several scenes with Xander. Like, I know a lot of people will tweet on Slayalong of how much they do not like Xander. And they don't get why people love him. And then I'm like, really? But then I watched the early seasons. I'm like, I get that because Xander is still very like jealous and he's still, he still kind of wants Buffy. You see that particularly in Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered, but he, rebukes the advantages when he learns there's a spell. Before he learned there's a spell, he was like, oh, yeah, girl, let's do this. And I'm like, no, you have a girlfriend, like, or you're with Cordelia. Like, you're still kind of a dog, Xander. And he's, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, Cordelia is like an obvious 10. And I'm like, she's putting up with a lot.
An obvious 10. I love that. Well, obvious 10, like, hello.
She leaves her friends. Like, she broke up with him. And I think it was Bewitched, Bother, and Wilbur. Like, she broke up with him because she wanted to be popular. Then she realized, no, I like this guy, and nobody should care what I think or feel. And I'm like, she did that for you, bro. Like, what are you doing?
But also, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, Xander's not, like, the worst looking guy on the show either. So, no, like, girl, why are...
Yeah. And go fish.
She could be dating, like,
Oh, that's funny.
I am married.
It's that argument that what was it? It was in Killed by Death, I want to say, when they were in the hospital and like Xander was so preoccupied with Buffy and Cordelia was like getting frustrated and she's like, you're like so obsessed with her, like I'm your girlfriend. And like I think I do love them as a couple because of that antagonistic, sassy dynamic that they have. Like I loved when they got together in what was it? What's My Line Part 1 and Part 2, where they're like just fighting and then they start making out
with the bug man in like the house. Man, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, the relationship with Xander and Cordelia, like I like it, and I think it gets a little bit better in season 3. And I think Xander grows as a character immensely, and I think we learn. What do you say?
I said I can't wait for that.
Oh,
It definitely annoys me a little bit.
Is like I would say Xander's like the heart of the group. Like he is very loyal. He will, do anything for anybody. He'll protect Will and Buffy forever and ever. But there's some speaking of that, let's talk about the Xander. Sorry, I'm gonna segue again. Let's talk about Xander in Becoming Part 2, where Buffy's about to go kill Angelus, and Willow's like, Willow tells Xander, hey, tell her that I'm about to try the spell again to restore his soul, so hold off on trying to kill him. And he's like, hey, Willow told me to tell you. And he's like, and she's like, what? And he's like, to kick his ass. And I'm like, you freaking dick.
Yeah, I mean, I also, like, I do that every single time, but it's in his character to do that because he's never liked Angel, even when
that's true. But Angel has saved him repeatedly, though. Like,
yeah, but I mean, he's just a jealous boy. So
yeah,
like,
that's true. He's high school, but still, though. But I think he
honestly, from a strategic perspective, it's almost better that he did that, because if Buffy was like putting off she would go into that fight differently if she was like holding off for Willow.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And she, Xander, she might not have been willing to. I mean, obviously she was, because world over boyfriend, but she. I don't know. It could have messed with her head too much. So
yeah,
I do understand it. Like if Will got it and it worked, then it's gonna work no matter what. But it's not worth it for Buffy to hold out for that.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was good television, right? I'll say that for sure. But it's just, I wish that he would understand what Buffy is going through. I think a lot of them don't realize that her boyfriend literally lost his soul, and he killed, Giles's girlfriend, and he is doing a lot of bad things, and no one quite understands what Buffy's going through, not even herself. But Buffy was my favorite character season 2 because of all the crap that woman went through. That girl went through a lot. So I'm gonna give props to her, because she had to kill her boyfriend at the end.
Yeah, I really liked her attitude problem in the first episode of season 2.
Me too. I love that.
Love it.
And even though I wrote one Buffy Xander fan fiction when I was 13. Don't judge me. But it's because there was chemistry between them in that episode when they did that sexy dance.
Oh,
and I'm
that werewolf.
I'm okay.
I like that. I think a lot of people think that's a very underrated. I think it's an underrated episode because why is Buffy acting horrible? I'm I don't know, because she died.
Yeah.
And I love the way Cordelia says I forget what she says in that episode, but she comes up on Buffy and says something.
I just remember Chloe.
Oh, what Chloe say?
I just remember on that very first episode, Chloe texted me and was like, "The angst in episode 1 is so good," and I'm yes, it is peak.
It is
angst.
so good.
But one of my favorite things about Buffy is she is one of the angstiest characters ever. Because I mean, no spoilers, but especially early season 3, you're gonna see she just tends to do this my life is terrible, and I and it's just very dramatic, and I love it because
I mean I would be like that too if I was
right. I'm it feels realistic because she is still this 16-year-old girl, former cheerleader, who's oh my god, you know what I mean? It's it feels very real to me, and I love that about her.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's especially I think the second episode of season 3 is when it's for real angst, and I was oh man,
yes,
maximum angst. And
that was a horrible episode though.
I think that's why the beginning of season 2 was lackluster for me, because I was oh my gosh, starting off with a bang with this first episode, and then it was
it just fizzled, and then it was it's they started strong, and then they're what do we do? And then they figured it out, and then they're okay, do that.
It's exactly you're right, because I'm looking, because I wrote down on the episodes they had when she was bad, which was good, and they had some assembly required. That's when they had that boy that was trying to kill girls and put pieces.
Really freaks me out.
Yeah, that was a weird episode. But then School Hard was good. But then Inca Mummy Girl was horrible.
And Reptile Boy
also, but then you have Halloween.
Yeah.
But
Reptile Boy is also awful. Can we just think of it? That's so weird. That is such a weird episode, and I hated it.
I agree. Lie to Me though was really good. That's when her old high school friend comes back and he wants to be a vampire.
I'm so surprised that she let him die and then just killed him no big deal at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, that's
she
true.
didn't even think about it.
Well, I think, she tried to get him out of there, and then he betrayed her, and then, I don't know. But I think there's one line in that when she tells him, you have a choice. It may not be a good choice, but you have a choice. And that resonates back to when Becoming Part 2, when she didn't have to kill Angel. She could have been lets the world go to hell, but she did. She had a choice, but it wasn't a good one. But it just reminded me of that. Oh, and there was, and then we have some, I don't know. Yeah, the first half of season 2 is a freaking mess. But the second half, after Surprise, is when I think it starts getting good.
They're surprise, the show's good now.
Surprise, yeah. That's what I feel bad for her birthdays. Her birthday episodes are always horrible.
Hey, literally, that's so true. I did not even think about that till you just said
I'm thinking
that.
of all of them now.
What are all of them?
Joke about it in one of the later seasons. Buffy's like, every year on my birthday, like I hate this shit.
Yes.
I forget
The
what episodes in the later seasons though are her birthday episodes. Does she have birthday episodes or just
season 6? They all get stuck in the house. That's not really a spoiler, but they all get stuck in the house.
I need to remember.
That's such a good episode, though.
I know.
It's
I can't remember the episode name for the life of me. What is the episode name? Does anybody know?
I can't remember. Home and Far Away, is that what it was or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm good up until like season 4 with remembering a lot what Buffy's about. Like after that, my memory's like done for. But yeah, has anybody started season 3 yet?
No, I finished season 2 today.
Yeah, I finished it last night. So
yeah, I do. I know, ladies. Oh, good. I'm glad.
Every episode.
Season 3 is my favorite for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm on episode 3 or.
I'm on episode 3 as well. I'm in the introduction of a new character, and I'm excited.
Yep. No, wait. I finished that episode, so I'm on the next one.
Okay. Oh, that one.
It's a werewolf one.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Season 3 is so good. I'm just looking at the list of episodes on season 3, and we have the homecoming episode, Band Candy,
The Wish,
Lovers Walk, The Wish,
the Zeppo. Oh my gosh, I love the Zeppo.
Like Doppelganger Land, right?
Bad Girls Consequences.
Bad Girls. Oh my god, yes. So many good ones.
Good choices. I mean, literally, like the only episodes that right now I know I probably don't love is like Dead Man's Party, Beauty and the Beast, and Gingerbread. Maybe
That's the one I'm on right now. Beauty and the Beast. That one is.
I don't remember loving that one, but I'm not sure.
I remember that episode. I
actually liked Gingerbread. Was good. I thought because that's like with the witches and everything. Right?
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Oh, I love Gingerbread.
I love that one.
That's I
They're
forget.
all
I gotta
good.
watch it.
Season 3 is
I'm
just
excited.
good. Period. End of sentence.
I'm so. Oh, somebody said Band Candy is their favorite season 3. I'm gonna have to agree with that hardcore.
Oh wait, you guys, Lovers Walk.
We got some good stuff in season.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, they do. You're gonna get excited, Chloe.
That's why it was like you got to get through season 1 and season 2 to get to season 3, and then you got to get through season 4, and then season 5 is really good. Season 6 is really good. Season 7, questionable, but seasons 5 and 6 are really good. So
yes, I agree. I would say I love season 5. Season 6, we'll have to see. What else was like? I don't know what else to say for season 2. Yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
So does anyone have any like favorite scenes? So not like just episodes, but just scenes. I have one.
What is it? I want to know yours.
Yeah.
Like this just made me cry. So it's after Jenny dies. And then oh my gosh, by the way, we haven't even talked about how Willow becomes a teacher. I love that.
Oh, Willow's such a precious soul.
But also Logic.
Yeah. Like, they were just like,
yeah, we'll just ignore that.
They brought a rocket launcher into the mall, Lainey. Okay, Logic has left the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she finds the rose quartz and she gives it to Giles and she's like, it has healing properties. I think she'd want you to have it. And then Giles was like, I don't know, it was just like the best moment.
Can you please do the reenactment again? Because that was really great. You're like, and Giles was like, and that was it. I'm like, wait, what?
No, I forgot if he says like thanks Willow or something, but he says something that like you could tell that he was like it meant a lot to him, and then it was just like tears.
So
and I just love Willow, and I loved it.
Yeah, Giles is such what a good such a precious soul, but like he's got that ripper inside of him. But he's just I love Giles.
Jenny died, and he went after Angel, and he was
he like
but it broke my heart, like because Buffy, you could like really tell like how much she really sees Giles as like her father figure now, because she's like, what will I do without you? And I'm like,
I cried during that scene when she was like holding him and stuff, and she's like, you can't leave, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, but you know you're getting older when you are like starting to look at Giles and you're like, he's kind of sexy.
Oh my god. Somebody please tweet that. Well, he's probably not on Twitter. Somebody write that to his fan email or something.
Anthony Stewart. Gosh.
Also, all of the high school students are in their mid to late 20s.
Yeah, but I mean, that's with every high school show, though, I feel like now.
Oh, what was that weird scene with Xander and that guy who like came out to him, and Xander was really weird.
Oh yeah.
That was really weird.
I
Yeah,
was
that was-
really.
That wasn't
And then
phases.
it never came up again.
Because well, you'll see that. I think you see that guy. This is not to spoil anything, but I know that guy's in the very first episode of season 3
okay.
because I even recorded a line he said because it was perfect. I think he's on the football team. He was like,
Yeah.
if we could, do good on football team, do something else, and not have so many mysterious deaths, Sunnydale's gonna win.
He's
All
also
right.
in Graduation Day. Like he keeps popping up. Him and Jonathan
Okay.
are like side characters.
Yeah, and I think they bring up, him as well with
Mhm.
his coming out situation in particular. I don't know if he ever does fully that in the show though. Yeah, but that's weird they brought him up and then they just never talked about him again.
Yeah, I didn't like how Xander reacted, and he was just being like, "What? We didn't talk about anything." Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was.
just like go with it, dude. Just who
Yeah.
cares?
Like, he didn't
Yeah.
try to come on to him or anything. Like, he just.
He
Anyway.
was just, he was finally like, hey, I could finally tell somebody and
Yeah.
let's talk about it. And
You
he's
know,
like,
I feel like the more we talk about it, like we were talking about Joyce is messy, Faith is messy. I feel like Xander is the OG messy queen. Honestly, he is the
He is.
messiest in the show. He constantly, it's like if he can make the wrong choice, he's gonna make the wrong. You know what I mean? Like, he
yeah,
is
I mean,
a
look at his,
mess.
before Cordelia, Cordelius is constantly, his love interests are always, demons or insects. Like, I mean, what's that say about you? If
They
you
treat Cordy well. Like,
no,
Cordy deserves better.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it's like he's so
No,
obviously into
again.
her, and he's like wanted a girlfriend, and then it's like he has one, and he like doesn't appreciate it. It's like, okay, Xander, then choke. I don't know what to tell you. Like, come on.
Also,
look,
what was that
somebody
thing?
found. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
Chloe.
I just remembered when Willow's in the hospital, and then he says "I love you" in this weird way, and I couldn't tell if he was like as a friend or like And then she goes Oz, and then he's like sad, and then he leaves. But okay, if he likes Willow now, I'm pissed because
Yeah,
he
and
annoys me.
I got nothing to say.
Ah,
Yeah, I got nothing to
Just
say.
Oh,
Nothing to say.
But like
I
they
don't know.
almost kiss in the first episode of season
Right.
2.
Yes.
And then
Yeah,
they
and then
never
Buffy
talk
comes
about
back.
it again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Willow tries in that episode later to recreate with the ice cream on her nose, like, "Hey, look at me, I'm here," and he's like, "Nope, got my goggles for Buffy on, and that's all I got."
And there was like a line that Willow says to Buffy that I really liked when, like, I think in the beginning of the season, where she's like, "I don't care that he likes you because I know that you don't like him."
Mhm.
And like that's what she's never really jealous of the attention that Xander gives Buffy because Buffy would never return it.
I also like how Willow starts to own it too, because like it's either last season or this season. I can never remember, but it's the episode with the dance where he's like at the end is just like, let's just go together, and she's like, no, I'm not going to the dance with you like as a consolation prize. Like, you're being a
Yeah.
jerk.
Yeah, that was. I
So-
think it was this one with the Inca Mummy Girl, probably. I think.
That was
Yes, yeah,
I
yes.
think that was the finale of last season.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was on Prophecy Girl.
Spring
I don't
Fling.
remember. There's so many dances at the Bronze or something. But
Which, if it was last season, that's also disappointing because then it's like she's going backwards. But either way, he did at one point own it, and so good for her.
yeah, Willow comes. I mean, let's just say in that one, I think it was the episode Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered when he did that love curse or love spell, and then Willow's holding the axe, and she's like, "I said I loved you," and I was like, "This is what you should be doing, not on the love spell." Just saying.
I don't know. The thing that frustrates me about that episode is that like Xander wants props for like not taking advantage of Buffy when she was under
Right.
the spell. Like, good job.
Like, what, you want a cookie?
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I feel just so bad for Cordelia because she constantly has proven herself time and time again that she likes him and she's left her friends for him and she is, in love with him pretty much. And he's just like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, he's
No.
he's like, I mean, they're both mean to each other, but it's a little bit different when he's so mean to her, but so nice and supportive to Buffy and Willow. Like, I
Yeah.
know that like Xander and Cordelia have that dynamic between the two of them, and they always have. But like, he's so mean to her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like too mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's even towards the end, I think it was in Becoming when they were deciding if they were going to redo the spell or whatever. And Cordelia's like, I agree with you. And he like yells at her right away because he expected her to disagree
Oh,
with him.
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Gosh, man. I can't remember a favorite. I don't know what everyone's. I don't know if anybody else has a favorite particular scene. There's so many one-liners in this whole season or in the whole show that are just gold.
I often find myself rewinding Spike moments because I'm like, I just gotta watch
so
that
funny.
again. It was so good.
He has my favorite. He has my favorite line probably in the whole show, which is his 5 words.
I love
We
that.
all know that. We'll get to that when that happens, but that's like my favorite.
What season
line in the
is
whole
that?
show.
What are we talking about?
I feel like that's later. It's like 5 or
I
6,
think
isn't
it's 5.
it?
I think it might be 5.
6.
I think
No.
it's 6. I'm pretty sure it's season 6.
What are we talking?
Wait, no, it's not. Trust me.
It's not. It's not that late.
No.
Anyway, either way.
It's 5.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Are you talking about? Let me just do a hand gesture, and if this is
Yeah.
it, yes, that's. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah, that one. Yeah.
that was 5. I know for a fact that was season 5.
Honestly, he has the best lines through the entire series.
He's so
'Cause I can
funny.
think of so many quotes, and they're all his.
Yeah, his are good. I mean,
In Becoming, where he's like, it's a big rock. I can't wait to tell my friends.
Yeah.
They don't
and then when Angel tries to open it and he can't, he's like, "Someone wasn't worthy."
Oh yeah.
It's like, that's just like schoolboy taunting stuff. I love it.
Yeah. Or even when he's like leaving with Drusilla, and he's like, "Oh, he's gonna kill her."
Yeah.
Fuck it, and then leaves.
All right.
Oh yeah.
With Spike, though, with his relationship with Drusilla, I feel like it was kind of toxic because he was very.
Sure.
The whole thing was toxic because let's talk about that real quick. If that's okay. Like, Spike was very much in love with Drusilla, but he was also very possessive of her, especially when Angelus came out to play. Like, then Angel like wanted Drusilla, and Drusilla was like, "I'll do both of you. Let's do this."
I thought that Angelus was just kind of taunting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I get the feeling that like he kind of sees Drusilla as like a weird daughter type.
Probably.
Not
Sounds
that I
right.
condone it, but like because he did sire her, so
Yeah.
He freaking killed her whole family and all that stuff. It's oh gosh, Drusilla, poor Drusilla, but also Spencer. I'll cancel your Drusilla shirt in the mail.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, but I don't know. I love the end of season 2. I thought season 2 was pretty good, but I'm excited to get to season 3. Season 3 is like when I'm like obsessed with Buffy.
I feel like this end of this season is not only just like super climactic, but it also really sets up so much for season 3 because it's like immediately at the beginning of that season there is like so much drama happening that you have to deal with. That it's like it just makes it so like you hit the ground running and there's really no dead space. And I just
there really isn't.
Yeah, because you know the thing that I really liked about Buffy's character in the final episode was that she gets everything taken away from her. She's kicked out of school, so she can't go back to school. She gets kicked out of her house. She has to kill her boyfriend. She has nowhere else to go. So like I loved when she like got on the bus at the end and left. Like it's heartbreaking, but it just makes sense for her character.
Okay, that just reminded me though. I feel like I have to shout out like one of my favorite lines in the whole series when they're sword fighting and she's like they're in the courtyard and he's like you have nothing and like take that away and what's left and she's like me. And then he kicks his butt and I'm like that's it right there. That to me is like that little micro moment is like the epitome of what Buffy is. It's like she's so much more than anything else, you know, and like every person is so much more than anything else. I just thought that's so good. That's like one of my favorite like kick-ass moments, you know?
Oh yeah. I love that. I agree completely.
Though you can really tell when there's the stunt double in these fighting scenes.
I noticed.
Oh yeah.
I was watching. I was like, Buffy, not Buffy. Buffy. Not
Yeah,
Buffy.
it's really obvious.
Also, some of the fighting is just so cheesy. Like it's really bad.
Yeah.
Also, like when they were in the courtyard and he was like dangling the sword at her, I'm like, that sword looks like you got it from a costume shop.
Yeah.
It's a plastic one.
Yeah.
It's plastic.
I love though. That's like one of my favorite things about this is just like I just love when shows are not well made. Sort of.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
That's your
fun,
guilty
you know?
pleasure.
But you gotta think this was well made for the time.
Yeah.
But like that's a good point because like there's some I mean I can't think I'm like not specifically thinking of but like there's a lot of big budget blockbuster movies that have all this money and they're just terrible. Like they're just awful.
Yeah.
And it's like but Buffy was on the WB. Like it had a shoestring budget for what it was. and it's still one of the most iconic shows of all time, just because it has such good storytelling. And I just love it so much because like you can do so much with storytelling. You can compensate for almost everything when you have a really great story, and I think Buffy is a really great example of that.
Yeah. Totally. And you mentioning some like Hollywood blockbusters that have like really crappy effects and like CGI just totally makes me think of the Sonic trailer. That was just
Oh yeah, that's a perfect example. Everyone was
I haven't even seen
out
that.
about that. Yes.
it's so terrible.
Yeah, they're literally like redoing the whole movie. Apparently, like it's people hated it that much.
I've seen people on Twitter upset because it means that like all the CGI artists are going to be like working overtime for the next 6 months.
Yep.
Oh, boo-hoo, because they released a horrible trailer. That's on them.
But I mean, I feel like they didn't decide what the character was like. You know, some dude was
following-
To be the people that was in charge. Okay, I see your point.
Yeah, so we'll hold them accountable.
Damn, they should
the
be.
ones who are like getting screwed.
Yeah, I would be upset if my boss was like, "Here, make this," and inside you're probably like, "This is not gonna be good," but I gotta do it to get my check.
Yeah.
So, I haven't seen the trailer, so I guess it's not even worth watching.
I just saw the human teeth, and I just
Yeah, the teeth,
real life.
no, and the eyes, like the eyes look nothing. Like it's terrible. It's just bad. But that's a whole separate live show.
Yeah.
It's a live show on the Sonic trailer. Oh man.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think we're done. Or unless does anyone else have anything else they want to add?
No, I was going to say if anybody wants to ask a question in the comments or something real quick, that's the only thing. Because I think we've discussed a lot about season 2. I think we're going to have even more to discuss about season 3. Season 3 is probably going to be a big gush fest, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, also with each new season, we get to talk about the series more in context.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like I'm holding back so much because I know what happens in later seasons, but I can't say anything yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs in season 3 that catapult the show in further seasons.
Yes, agreed. Yes, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them because otherwise we shall end soon.
What was the dumbest thing this season, in your opinion?
I mean,
Ted.
Bad eggs and Ted.
and Go Fish.
Go Fish had its
Bad eggs for
moments.
me.
There
Okay,
were no
okay.
moments in
Fine,
Ted.
I'll say bad eggs for me, 100%.
Oh, Bailey has a great question for Chloe. Bailey Caldwell has a great one for Chloe.
Ooh.
Do you have any predictions for the later seasons?
Ooh.
Oh. No. Okay, I kind of suck. I don't really predict things, but
Oh, come on. Give us a prediction.
I really don't. Like, I'll try it. I mean, I think that there will be like some weird thing with Xander and Willow, which I'm not here for. But I feel like they need to get it out of the system, and the way that you reacted when I said it before.
We'll go for which Joker fan. We'll just cover
But
up.
that's not really a prediction. That's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I really just don't really think about those kind of things.
Yeah, and it's also, I feel like Buffy is a really hard show to predict.
Big
because,
time.
Like, every season, like, goes in a very different direction than the last.
100%.
I honestly don't know where the season 3 is going to go.
I hope you like it.
Yeah, or
I hope
Spencer
you
and I
like
will
Let's go.
find out where you live.
Oh.
I'm sure Spencer and I I'll find out.
I'm just gonna knock. Hello.
How did you like season 3?
Little birdie told me.
What's Jacob wants to know worst season and best season for each of you.
Worst season is season 4.
Really?
Best season is seasons 3 and 6.
Right.
My worst season is season 1, and then my favorite season is season 6.
All right, Kat.
I think same as Lainey.
So yours is favorite 6, and then least is 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Me, my
fair.
favorite is 3. My least would be a mixture of 4 and 1. I know. Kat, you like season 4?
I mean, I like season 4.
There's some good moments in it.
There's some good moments.
There's some moments of season 4 that I like.
Because I have one of my favorite episodes is in season 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What one is
Hanks? The
is
Thanksgiving
that the
episode.
Thanksgiving episode?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. But then,
Yeah.
but then season 4 also has Beer Bad and Where the Wild Things Are, I think, which are
Beer Bad is the
Terrible.
worst episode.
It was
of the entire
it's the worst episode of the whole show. I'll just go ahead and say it. Like that's my yeah.
Wait, is
I mean-
Hush in season 4?
Yes, Hush is in season 4.
Okay, I'm
Mhm.
changing my answer. Okay, 1. Fine. 1 is correct.
Hush is
But
good.
I'm with Heather though. It's a mix. Like half of season 1 is terrible, half of season 4 is terrible. So
Mhm.
just that
Oh,
half of 1, half of 4.
okay. There's this section of 3 episodes. Yeah, it's Pangs and then Something Blue.
Ooh, I love
Oh,
Something
I
Blue.
like Something Blue.
That was a great episode.
And then Hush. It's those 3 are back.
Those
to
are
back.
some
Yeah,
good
And then
episodes.
isn't
Those are
season 4 is when we meet a certain female
Yes.
character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's also very important. So
She's my favorite female character on the show.
yeah, love yeah. So
Wait, no,
I
we
stand corrected. Thank you everyone
No, wait.
for getting me on
She
track.
became a series regular in season 4.
Okay, that's what I
Like,
meant.
yeah,
It's in
Okay.
season 3 though. We get her in this next season.
I know.
We do?
We're
Wait, are
so
you talking
blessed.
The Wish.
Speaking with, come on. Oh, yeah, you're right then. You are right. Oh, Tamika wants to know, will we watch Angel after Buffy?
I mean, I'm not opposed to that, especially.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask you guys your opinion because
I've never seen it, guys.
then you have to.
I really want you to, Spencer.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like I have to, because otherwise we're gonna be talking about it in this, and I'm gonna, you have to do that thing where you're like, no, that one guy with the hat, and everyone's like, oh yeah, and I'm like,
Well, it
oh,
also has. They also have crossover episodes too, occasionally with Buffy and Angel. But Angel begins after
Season
season
three,
3.
right?
So I was thinking when we watch season 4 of
Spoiler
Buffy, we
alert.
also. Oh, I'm sorry. Gosh, I feel like though.
I mean, it's like basic knowledge, but like still, like Angel's gonna be gone after season 3.
I doubt it.
But I don't. Are you guys like okay with like watching 2 seasons of 2 shows in 1 month?
Probably.
I know I can do it.
I mean, we might need to like extend, like do month and a half
Ooh,
instead of
that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
stagger them a little bit so we can
Yeah, I like that.
more time. But I feel like we're gonna have to work out some live show dates just with like a BEA and BookCon next month. Like it's gonna have to be a little bit later, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure.
all you guys that are gonna go and just. I'm not. Can somebody just make a cardboard cutout of my face and just carry me around? That's all I'm asking.
But yeah, okay. I think that's gonna be it for this live show, though. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our discussion, and be sure to follow our Twitter at Slayalong, where we will update you on all of our season 3 reactions and when the next live show is gonna be and all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you, Chloe, for guest.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, hope y'all have a good next month of watching season 3 of Buffy.
I'm excited.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.